African countries are among some of the world's fastest growing nations, according to the latest report by the World Bank called Africa's Pulse. Countries such as Ethiopia, Rwanda, and Ghana have been growing at a rate of 7% or more in the past 3 years. Poonam Chuan-Paul, a lead economist and co-author of the report at the bank, explains what's behind this strong growth.
Thanks to still high commodity prices and resilient domestic demand, growth has been spurred in Africa.
Chuan-Paul says the same growth is expected in the next year. But despite strong prospects for the region, there is also some downside.
On the external front, there is still the global economy, which is recovering at a weak pace, and there are tensions that could undermine growth both globally and within the region.
The good news is that growth is reducing poverty in Africa, but unfortunately not fast enough, says Shanta Devarajan, the chief economist for Africa at the bank. The lead author of the report says the single most important issue facing policymakers in Africa remains how to harness the growth into accelerated poverty reduction in a continent where more than 50% of the people live on less than $1.25 per day.
Resource revenues are not necessarily the fastest way to reduce poverty, for the very simple reason that growth in resource-rich countries occurs in the extractive sector, such as the oil sector or the mineral sector, but the poor earn their income from agriculture. 70% of the poor are actually working in agriculture.
Journalists from more than 20 African countries join in the conversation via webcam.
What advice does the World Bank have in that?
Overall, Devarajan says growth in East Africa has been the fastest. It's fueled by new mineral discoveries, but also increased improvements in macroeconomic policies. He also says that African countries have made tremendous progress in their macroeconomic framework.
Inflation was averaging about 15 to 20% in the 1990s in Africa. Today it's of the order of 5 to 7%. And that makes a big difference to the average person. So when you go to the market to buy things, the prices aren't so high anymore.
While the new assessment finds that Africa continues to grow faster than the global average, much remains to be done to raise the quality of life for the many who still live in extreme poverty. Part of the solution is providing a good education and productive jobs in the formal economy for the continent's youth. In Washington, Mariama Diallo, VOA News.